Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about trout nets. I'm going to show you the differences, what sets them apart, and which one I think is the best. Stay tuned. Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about trout nets and why they're super important. Last year I was out on opening day and I noticed the guy downstream from me hooked into a really big fish. So being he was on the same side of the brook as I was, I asked him if he needed help and he said certainly. So I went down to help him. I took hold of my net, which is a catch and release net. Looks like this. It's kind of shallow. It's only maybe 6-7 inches. It's perfect for just laying a fish in it, letting it release. It's made of wood. And the only problem is when I went to net this fish, it was about 25 inches. Didn't fit anywhere near into this net. So we struggled for a little bit, went back and forth. I tried tailing it, I tried lipping it. It was just too big. Finally, as the fish got tired, I was able to grab it by the tail and the lip at the same time and hoist it over my head so this guy could grab it. That got me thinking about nets and the importance of them. And like I said, I usually do a lot of catch and release. But lately I've been doing some meat fishing, which means I want to keep the fish. So a net like this is fine for smaller fish, but let me tell you some bad points about it. First off, the mesh on this is really fine, as you can see. That leads to a lot of problems. The first one being that I fish spinners a lot. And so whenever I get a trout in the net, the spinner almost inevitably gets hung up. You can see there's holes in this net, different spots. Maybe you can't see. There's one right there. There's a bunch of them in here. There's another one. There's two. There's one on the other side. And I basically have to cut the treble hooks out of the net, which is not the best thing in the world. So I decided that you know what, I would change out in the nets and what I do this year with them. So I've upgraded. Now, before I get to the one that I think is the best overall, let me talk to you about ones I've used in the past that I think will be more than adequate for you, especially if you're in areas where there's some big palominos or big trophy fish that you're after. Okay, the next net happens to be this one right here. It's a wood frame, and let me tell you, I really like wood frame nets. They're super sturdy. They are really durable. Aluminum nets have a tendency to twist, to bend. I just don't like them that much. I like the sturdiness of wood. I like the firmness of the handles. They grip well. I can turn the net firmly on the handle because it's more square than a round handle. I just really like the look and the texture of a wood net as well. Now you can see this net here is really deep. This has got to be like 14-15 inches, which is ideal if you get into a bigger fish. Problem with this net though, even though it's got bigger netting on it, the problem is that this type of netting is that nylon, and it's still going to hang up on hooks. You're still going to get your trebles caught in it. You may have to cut them out. You may not get them caught as much, but they will get caught. The other thing is it's not as good for the fish. The smaller mesh helps support the fish more. This mesh, because they're going to be bowed more, number one, and this is very rough, this net. So what's going to happen is it's going to rub slime off on those fish. And you know, if you're going to release those fish, if you're going to keep them, it's one thing, but if you're going to release them, then you know, this isn't the best net for that. And because you know, it's going to take, like I said, the slime off. It's going to stress the fish out, and that's really not what you want. So this is the net that I've moved up to this year, and why I think it's going to fit my needs. May not fit your needs, but why I think it's going to fit my needs, and why I think it's the best for what I'm doing right here. Here's the net that I'm using this year. Again, it's a wood handled net. Now you can spend as much as you want on these things. This net here is a Cortland net. I got this at Walmart, 20 bucks. Okay, If you were just to buy this silicone netting, all right, just to replace it on one like I just showed you, you're looking at $14. Plus you got to do the work and everything else. So I would keep the other net as a backup, and that way you're good there. And then I would also just purchase a silicone net like this. You can just feel the difference in this. Number one, it's really lessens the chances of your hooks getting caught in the net. You know, a lot of times if you have a treble hook, one sticking out of the mouth, or if your other hook pops off, then you're not dealing with a net in your hand and a fish in your hand. It's going to make life easier for you. The other thing is, it's a whole lot less stressful on the fish. It helps protect the slime on there. It's wider, it's super soft, you can just feel it. And they say that this clear net, they can't see it as well in the water. I don't know. But let me just tell you that this is the one I'm moving to this year. Now that I showed you the different nets and the you know, the differences in them, I want to show you how I attach them, because this has really made a big difference for me. So let's take a look at that right now. Okay, there's two different ways you can attach your nets. First one is with a net retainer like this. It's on a chain, okay, and you can just, it's got a clip on it like that. You can just hook it on your, you know, the top of your collar and your vest or on your belt. Works good like that. The only problem is with this, you'll noticing if it gets pulled out, say it gets caught, it hangs down, and if you get caught on brush, you're walking along and the net's going to be flopping around and going all over the place, and it get, you know, and this can slide out, you know, so you can lose it. I don't use this anymore, okay, and that's the reason for it. But that is an option for you. I mean, you could put it on and, you know, do something with tape it on or something so you're not going to lose it. But again, I don't like the fact that it's not strong enough to pull the net right back to where I want it. So therefore, as I'm moving along, it can be down on the ground in dragging, it can be caught in brush, pulling back on me. Not a good scenario. So let's show you what I use now and why and how I rig it. I use my smaller net because this is what I have it hooked to now, and I'm going to show you how you actually attach this to another net. It's a two-part system. First off, it has this magnet. You can get these just about anywhere on Amazon. I'll put a link below so you can check it out. May not be this exact one, but it would be one real similar. If you notice, it's pretty hard to pull apart. Now watch, as it comes together, if it gets anywhere near, boom, pops right on. The nice thing about this is it's got a clip on it, okay, and that clip hangs right in the back of my chest pack on my back side, and so the net is supported this way. Notice the net is all the way up against almost my neck, so any brush coming by each side of it, the net doesn't get hung up. The other factor is I've got this elastic telephone type cord on here, and then I have a Dura snap on the bottom here to connect it to the key ring that attaches to an eye on the bottom. Now what's great about this is once you pull down on this like this, all right, you pop the net free. Now this is on here, you can scoop up a fish, all right, and if you drop it, it's no big deal. It's not going to be chasing it downriver, or if it comes loose of the magnet, gets pulled off on some brush, boom, it's not going to be gone downstream. Okay, so what I like about this and hooking this up, it's very simple. If you notice, I use a large zip tie, electrical zip tie. All right, I use the real big ones. They're about 1/4 inch wide. You could use several smaller ones if you wanted, but I just preferred using one big one. I give it just a little bit of play because I don't want to have a piece of paracord where it's hanging all the way down here and then I'm fishing for it. Okay, as you notice, it hooks up pretty quick once you get it close. What I try and do is I just go right through the edge of my net, and then I hook that keychain on there so I have some swivel action. All right, and then basically all I have to do, this is hung like that, all I have to do is reach up behind me, my hand on the handle, and just get it anywhere close. Boom, and I'm done. And it hangs nice and neat out of the way. All right, super easy. And like I said, I'll share a link below for that, but I think it could really save the day for you. Again, the net choice is yours. Those are some options for you and why I prefer them. Couple things you need to look at when you're purchasing a net. First one is longevity. Is this something you want to have for a long time? I tend to think that for me, I like to purchase something once and have it for a long time. So you have to decide. For me, I have to decide which net I want. I don't want 60 different nets, although I have moved through them, but this has been over a period of years. So the other thing is, if you want something just for catch and release, that's not going to keep the fish more flat, then you might want something like the smaller net, like I showed you right here. If you want to have something where you're going to keep the fish all the time, so it doesn't matter, and you need something deeper because you're going to be fishing other fish, I would go with the green net I showed you right here. Super deep, really nice, beautiful to look at, beautiful, functional. The third thing is, if you want the best of both worlds, then I would go with a net like this with a silicone netting that is fairly deep. It's about maybe 10 inches, and I think that'll suit you very well. Hey everybody, thanks so much for taking the time to hang out with us today and check out our video. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that in choosing your next trout net that you'll consider some of those things, what you want it for, and maybe pick out the best one based on those facts. And so I just want to thank you again for taking the time to hang out with us. And if you liked our content, I'd really encourage you to consider subscribing to our channel. We've got a lot more videos like this one coming your way. And also, if you do, hit that notification bell as well and select all so you'll be up to date on all the videos as soon as they come out. And if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Let us know if there's something else you could add to this video, or something somebody else might learn from it. We'd really appreciate it. I just want to leave you with this final thought, and that is, whenever I go trout fishing, I've had opportunities to, whether I'm spin fishing or fly fishing, to lay out what I think is a perfect cast and perfect presentation to a fish, only to have them come up, like rise up to the surface, follow my fly, and then just refuse it and go back down. And I think those trout are incredibly smart that are selective in that way. But you know what? So often, I see that we refuse the offering that God puts out for us, thinking maybe there's something wrong about it. Maybe there's some kind of catch that God couldn't love me as much as he does, or there's some kind of thing involved here where it's going to cost me in the end. And so we refuse it, and we tend to go our own way a lot of times. But you know what? That's not really the truth. The truth is that God purely does love you, and he loves me. And the fact of it is, he wants to extend his goodness to us. He wants to lay out in our lives his grace and his mercy to us. And he wants to show us how wonderful a relationship with him can be. And now I know some of you might be saying, you know what, but I've had bad relationships with church, and if God really loved me, why would he allow these bad things to happen in my life? Well, all I can tell you is that I've had a lot of disastrous things happen to me as well. And the fact of it is, I really couldn't see God's love when I was out in the light. In other words, when you light a candle and you put it out in the daylight, it doesn't reflect much of anything. But in the darkness, it really shows up. And I remember going through my cancer and going through all the other horrible things in my life. And I could see God clearly when I was in the darkest places in my life. And I watched him as he supported my family and myself through my cancer and all the other things, and sustained us, and how he loved me through all of that. He was there for my pain. He was there for everything, because I really was able to discover the God he was, not the God I thought he was. And so, I would just challenge you, if you're not close to God right now, if you're estranged from him, maybe following your own desires and your own ways, and you'd like to come back to him to experience his deep love and his goodness, then you know what? It's really not hard. It's really about us just reaching out to him, because his arms are always open wide. And you know, if you're still not sure how to do that, I've written a book for you for free. It's in the description below. It's called Growing Deep. And it shares with you a little bit about my life and my journey, but it also, more importantly, shares with you some of the scriptures that shows you how you can have a right relationship with God. And not only that, but how you can walk with him on a daily basis and the next steps to take in that new relationship with him. You know, I'd really challenge you to check out the books. I've written several books. They're all down in the description below, and they're all free for you. That doesn't require any email or anything else. You just click on them and start reading. But you know, I really encourage you that if you're not experiencing the deep love of God, if you've got skepticism about God, the only way you're going to break through that is by reaching out to him. You know, it says in the Bible, taste and see that the Lord is good. And you know, once we get a taste of God, we really can understand his love for us and feel his love for us in our life. So guys, thanks again so much for joining us and hanging out with us today. And I want you to know that this truth, and that is that God loves you more than you could ever know. Just think about that. So until next time, thanks again so much for watching. God bless you guys, and make sure you get outdoors.